Hello everyone, welcome back to part 2 of how to make a band GUI on Roblox. So today we're going to be fixing up our player list, adding a way to fire all these nice remotes, and some of the server-sided code, which I was experimenting a little bit with there. So, the first thing we're going to want to do is fix up our player list. So, somebody who's one of my friends, you can go check him out. His name is Lamb Dog Food, super cool. Pointed out that while true could cause performance impacts on the client, and this is true. However, I don't really want to do this every 60th of a second, so I think we can do is leave this here for now, but we'll fix this in just a little bit. Next thing we're going to do is gonna go ahead and code these. So follow along. You can just paste this and change this to unban. Alright, cool. We want to do remotes dot kick fire server. Then we want to fire reason dot text. And then we want to do we can copy this, except for this one, we're going to want to do local UID is equal to game.players get user ID from name async, and then player name dot text. And we want to do if UID, then we also then want to say we want to fire this, except only with UID. And there will be actually two arguments here. Sender and reason.text and sender and user ID. Here there are four arguments. Sender, player name.text, reason.text, and the duration. There, we have our kicking and unbanning code. Very cool. Except, we want to change this to unban. Or else it'll throw errors, because thing is undefined. Now, we're going to have to code our whitelisting system. So we're going to do local UIS is equal to game get service user input service. Then right here, we have to have a remote function called check administrator in here. I made this earlier while experimenting to make sure this would all work. So, first thing we want to do is do local check admin is equal to game.replicate storage wait for child add remotes wait for child. And yes, you can do that twice. Check administrator. And this will be helpful later. Now, we want to do local function is administrator. We don't have to put any arguments in this as we're doing on the client. However, we want one more variable. Local players equal to game.players.local player. This can only be executed from local side. Now, what we want to do is local get admin status is equal to check admin invoke server. That's all we've got to do there. So now we want to do if get admin status, then, and we actually don't need this. We need if not get admin status, or if not admin status. We should change this to admin status. And this will check if it's true or false when this returns. For those of you who don't know how remote functions work, I'll leave a link in the description. However, now we want to do if not admin status, then script.parent : destroy. And this will entirely get rid of this. So now we want to do user input service dot input began, connect function, then the key and game processed. So we want to say if not game processed, then we want to say if key dot key code is equal to, let's say, enum dot key code, let's say B, and then must have a double equals here. We can now say script.parent.main.visible, not script.parent.main.visible. Easy enough. And now, just to make sure that this local function is administrator runs, just run that function. And that's your simple whitelisting system. Now, the next thing you need to do is create a script in server script service. And we're going to want to keep this organized, just like I do. So I'm going to type services here. And this will help me keep all the services that I need to organize. So the ones we're going to need for this are local data store service. I suck at typing. Is equal to game : get service data store service. And we're also going to want a few things. We're going to want messaging service is equal to game : get service messaging. And then we want run service perfect. And then now that we have those, we want our data stores. So we want to have local admin store, and this will tell us who is an admin and who isn't. And we want to do data store service on get data store, and we want to name this administrators. Then we want to do local ban players, and you could do this with a table if you wanted to just kick them, but we're doing this with an admin panel, so we want to do a data store. So get data store and players. Very cool. So now that we've got that, we need our remotes folder. And we want to do local admin remotes equal to game.replicate storage : wait for child admin remotes. Cool. Then we want to do a remote fence. And then we want to do admin remotes dot ban dot on server event : connect function, and then we want to get all of the data we passed right here. So we want to have our first argument as sender, target as the second argument, reason as the third argument, duration as the last argument. Now, it will be important later, but here's what we're going to do. So once this ban gets fired, we want to check something. So if admin store get async sender.userid. Then this will make sure that they have data there. Else, we're going to set an async. So banned players, set async sender.userid and a table. So the first thing we're going to want to write is time is equal to -1. This will make the ban infinite. You want to say moderator is equal to the server, and we'll put the colon there for a reason. They'll understand later. We also want to say reason is equal to exploiting is not allowed. So now we have them banned, then sender colon kick. Now they are instantly banned from the game for exploiting. Now this is a really great way to do this. Now, the next thing we want to do is up here. We want to say if, we actually don't need an if statement here. We can just say, okay, wait here. So we can do ban players colon set asynchronous. Then we want to do one line up here, which is the same thing we did earlier, where we did local UID is equal to game.players colon get user ID from name async target. Cool. So we want to do UID and then the same table. Now we're going to copy all of this here. We want to do time is equal to duration. Moderator is sender.name. And the reason, set it to reason. Bam. You have your ban. Now, the last thing we're going to want to do is make a variable called data. And we're going to make this into a table. And the first entry we're going to put in here is we want to put the target. It doesn't matter caps actually. Target's target. And we want to set duration. We actually only need the target. So now we want to do messaging service colon publish async ban player. So this will reach out to every server across the network and say, hey, do you have this player? And to do that, we just do data. Actually, it's already a table, so you can just do that. So now we have all of our banning code, which is big pog. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is our whitelist. So we want to do admin remotes.check administrator dot on server invoke. And this works way differently than a remote event. Instead of using colon connect, use equals function. Now, as I was saying, remote functions work differently because you need to call the function. You can't use connections for some reason. I don't know why they didn't do it that way, but I guess for difference's sake. Now, what we want to do here is we want to connect an argument called sender, of course. We want to say equal is admin equal to admin store colon get async. And we want to do sender.user ID. We want to say if is admin, then return true, else return false. That's all you have to do for the whitelisting. Now what we have to do is the kick code. Much easier than that ban code, so add remotes.kick on server event connect function sender target reason. I want to do if admin store get async sender.user ID standard whitelist. Then we want to do local player is equal to game.players colon find first child target, and then if player, then player colon kick reason. Easy as that. Now your unbanning code is going to be a little bit similar to this, so we're just going to copy it. Oh yes, and we also want to copy all of this code right here. See how this has no else statement? Any of these remote events, when they're fired, should ban you. No exceptions. Okay, so there we go. You want to delete this code here. We want to say ban players colon remove async. Actually, what I'm gonna do, colon get async UID, then ban players colon remove async UID. And perfect. We have all of this working and ready to go. Now, if I go and test this, I am not an administrator. So, when I click B, actually, we can do this a way easier way. If I go over here to explore, when my little player pops up, then go to my player GUI. I don't even have the admin GUI. Now, what we want to do is game.replicated storage. In command bar, we can test it by doing this. The admin remotes.ban colon fire server. Fire appliance fire server. Banned instantly. And because we haven't coded the ban code for it just yet, let me just edit my data store key out of here. Alright, cool. You see how the key, it did ban me. Now, we want to make it actually ban said player when they join the game. They should be instantly kicked. So game.players.player added connect function and player. So if get async player.user ID, then we want to say to kick them. So we actually want to get this as local ban data. We want to add ban data there, and then we want to kick them. So player kick. Then we want to do you have been banned from this game. And we want to do this, a multi-line string. Reason. We can actually just pop that right there. Dot reads ban data dot reason dot oops and then we want to type another indentation. We want to do moderator. We actually can just get rid of the colon there. Then we want to say ban data dot moderator. So the first thing we want to do actually, before we even kick them for this, is we want to write another if statement. So if ban data dot time is greater than or equal to actually is less than or equal to os dot time, and then we want to say then we can delete this right here, put that end there, and put this as an else statement. And then we can just type ban players on remove asynchronous player dot user ID, and they will be allowed to enter the game. Now we now need to convert this to, we now need to get their time of the ban. So we can do this because the ban is going to be in Unix time. There's a reason for that. But we want to have a nice area up here for functions. We want to do local disp time t and player. Oh wait, we need function. Now that we have this function, we can begin by taking our data and getting it. So we want to do local data is equal to ban players colon get async player.user ID. Cool. So now the next thing that we need to do is we need to get the end date. So local end date is equal to, actually we can do local duration is equal to data.time. Alright, so now that we've got that, we want to actually have our days, hours, and minutes. So we need to do that, we need local days is equal to math.floor time slash, which will divide it by 86,400. I think that's how many seconds are in a day. Yes, I'm correct. So the next thing we need to do is hours. So we're going to need to do local hours is equal to math.floor math.modf, and then I believe we need t, and then 86,400. So T 86,400 divided by 3,600. That should be good. Oh, we had an error there, but it's still fixed. All right, so we need local second or minutes. And then to get the minutes, we also need to fmod something. We need to do math.floor, math.fmod, or mod.f, I mean. Then we need t, and instead of 86,400, we just need 3,600. And then divided by 60, I think. Yes. Okay, cool. So, I just had to do that in my calculator really quick. So, we then want to return a ban message. So do you remember down here how we were writing a ban message? We're gonna go ahead and delete that and do disp time. So wait, so yeah. Okay, wait, I need and uh ban data dot time does not equal to -1. That's how you set an infinite ban, is a -1. So we need to pass some stuff. So to get this correctly, we need to pass through our duration minus our time. So what we need up here is a time. So local t is equal to os dot time. Perfect. So we need to do if bandata.time, this is pointless. This line right here, we don't even need it. We just need to do. Okay, I might have just confused you all, but we just need to do if this does not equal -1. We need one more if statement right here, and that's if t is less than or equal to, I think. Let me see. If t is greater than or equal to uh, ban data dot end or ban data dot time, then if time is less than, okay. Hold on, let me think about this for a quick second. Alright, so now that we're an administrator, the GUI will not destroy itself. And I can fire the ban remote all I want, because I'm an administrator. Come on, load in. Alright, here we go. So I'm not banned. If I press B, it's not fucking opening, bruh. Okay, well it destroyed itself, but I can fire the remote. So we want to do gain a replication to admin rest ban colon fire server. We want to say, what's the data that we fire across? My name. Okay, so Summer's Fallen, or actually lamb cat food now. Then we want to fire the reason, so nerd. And duration should be nil. Actually, -1 because we coded it that way. and we were kicked. Now, I should not have been kicked for not being whitelisted. I should have been kicked this time for reason nerd, and we'll see almost instantly when I join. Alright, well, we've got a little bit of a bug, but we'll solve it in the next part. Hope you enjoyed. If you did find this tutorial helpful, please consider subscribing and liking the video. Helps me out a lot, trying to hit 1,000 subs by the end of the year. And hope to see you guys next time. Peace.